classic Narc Survivor topic from one of my older but very popular videos on TikTok, talking about how to make a narcissist suffer forever after all of the things they did to you, everything that they put you through. Now it's your turn, it's your chance to give them a taste of their own medicine. Now it's time to let them know how it feels. So this all begins by you recognizing that you do not owe them closure. You do not owe them an explanation for you leaving them, for you disappearing. I mean, normally, you might refer to this as ghosting, discarding. But keep in mind, you are the victim. They cross your boundaries. They did things that you were not willing to tolerate or accept, things that you didn't like, things that were harming you. So why do you owe them anything? Why do you owe them an explanation for why you're leaving? You don't. And by you doing that, this is the first step to making a narcissist suffer forever. You disappearing without giving them an explanation, without giving them closure. And really, you're not doing this to them, they're doing this to themselves. Because they choose to not take accountability. They choose to remain in denial. And this is how many of them will not understand why you're disappearing, why you're not giving them closure, why you're not giving them an explanation for why you're leaving them. They may not understand it because they choose to remain in denial. They choose to not take accountability for the horrific things that they have done to you. So in many ways, they are their own worst enemy. They are the result, the cause of their own suffering. So yeah, give them silence. It's the one sound they fear most. Because what they really want is for you to keep reacting. Keep feeding it back into them. Keep making them relevant, significant. That's what they want from you. And that's why they do everything that they do, is to maintain a sense of relevance in your life. Because they know that it's better with you. They know that you are the truth, you are the light. And that's why they're constantly seeking your validation. Because they know the things that they have done to you. They know the things that they have done are wrong. They know they're not good. And this is why they constantly need you to feed into something. They need your reactions all the time. They can't live without it. They've got to pull you on that same wavelength, on that same frequency. They've got to get you to act in accordance with them, to be in agreement with whatever delusional thing they're thinking in that moment, so that they can feel like they're not alone, so that they can feel like you agree with them, you're with them on that. Because it's not something that they can generate by themselves. They can't do it on their own. They need you. And they will find any possible way that they can to pull you into it. They've got all of their little tactics: denial, projection, blame shifting, playing the victim, gaslighting. And these are all just ways to get you to pay attention to them, to validate their false character, their false reality, make them feel real, make them feel like they matter, like they exist, like they're powerful. This is what this is all for. And this is why one of the worst things you can do to a narcissist is to just give them your silence. The only time they can really feel at peace is when they can keep you in a reactive state where you're constantly feeding into them. And this is it, this is why they discredit you, smear you, everything. Because they're extremely insecure about it. They don't really believe that they are right, that they are justified in doing what they do. This is why they need to get all of these people together to turn against you, to validate their side of things. They're not going to stand by themselves for anything. They've got to get other people into it because they don't really believe it themselves on their own. And even all of these other people, all of these flying monkeys, they don't even really matter. Their real purpose isn't so much to validate the illusion. They don't really count for anything, and that's why there's often so many of them. Because even 1 million flying monkeys, it's still not enough to validate the illusion. They bring in these monkeys and they send them after you to suppress you, to keep you down, to keep you doubting yourself, to make you validate it. So this army of flying monkeys that they send after you, it's really just to get you to give your validation. Their validation doesn't really mean anything because they're just as fake as the narcissist. They're being manipulated, brainwashed. And the narcissist knows that deep down, and that's why they don't matter. And that's why when you give them your silence, it really makes them suffer. They don't know how to deal with that. And this is it. You don't have to do what they do. You don't have to go out and discredit them. You don't have to smear them. You can expose them without saying a word. Your peace is the loudest truth. And this is why they hate your peace, because it becomes a constant reminder to them of the liars, the manipulators that they are. And this is why they can't stand it when you are at peace. They always want to ruin that for you. They want to get you all worked up. They want to destabilize you. Because anytime that they see that you are at peace, it's just an endless reminder to them of how it's them and not you, because they're not at peace. They can't find peace. And not because of anything you've done to them, but because of the things that they have done to you. The things that they are in denial about. So yeah, when you break their control, not control of themselves. Of course, I mean, if you break control of a person's self, they're going to lose touch with themselves. Anyone will. But no, you break their control, not of themselves, but over you. You break their control over you and they lose all sense of identity, all sense of purpose, meaning. Because they have a false identity based off of you. So if they lose control over you, they lose touch with that identity. And that's when they don't know who they are. Then they have to seek out another source to find some form of purpose, meaning. And this is it, you know. We stay the same, even predictable to them. This is how they always know your next move, but you never know what they're going to do. You can't anticipate their next move because they're shapeshifters. They have a false identity based off of you, so when they lose control over you, you never know what they're going to do. It's like they become a completely different person, something you've never seen before. This is how that happens. And yeah, it's all based off of your reactions. They feed off that. It tells them to keep going in whatever they're doing, and whatever is making them feel desirable, powerful, intelligent, or however else they want to feel at that moment. So starve the parasite of your reactions. And replace them with peace. Because narcissists, you know, they're always trying to outdo you in any possible way. In whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to move on, find happiness, become successful, they will try and compete with you in that. They will invalidate it. They will put you down. And many of them will either come back just to sabotage it. But either way, they're still going to see it as though you're chasing after their validation. You're trying to prove a point to them. And that's exactly what they want. They want you to continuously, endlessly try and prove to them why you're better than them, why you're right. That's what these abusers want. And that's why you don't need to do that. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to flaunt anything. By doing that, you're still in their game and you're not truly free. And you are continuing with the false identity that they imposed onto you. You're not truly being yourself. So you replace them with peace. Because if there's one thing that they cannot compete with, it's your calm. They will never be able to compete with that, and that's why they're always trying to destabilize it, because they can't compete with that. So yeah, to make a narcissist suffer forever, you just have to detach completely. Their power will die with your interest. It's your interest, your attention, your energy. That is what gives these abusers, these parasites, power. You take your energy and attention away, take your focus away, your interest, and you detach, and you then take your power back. And never explain anything to them, because they choose to be in denial, they choose to not take accountability, and they hate any sense of mystery, unpredictability. They can't stand that. It tortures them. For you, you may enjoy that when things are mysterious, unpredictable, adventurous. For them, it is torture. They want to be in complete power and control over everything. And even when they play God, you know, it's very miserable, depressing for them. This is why they toy with you. Because that's where they get a sense of amusement, entertainment. But when you become unpredictable, their scripts no longer work. So then they no longer get to play God. They no longer get to toy with you like that. And so it's no longer fun for them. It becomes very irritating. So yeah, you want to make a narcissist suffer, do all these things and heal yourself. Seeing you whole, seeing you complete, seeing you full of life again, that is their hell. Because they know it's never going to be like that for them. They're never going to feel whole inside. They're always going to have that void. And they know that. And that's why they can't stand to see you heal. So yeah, you do all of this and you could just watch them crumble while you rise in silence. You don't have to make a big fuss about it. Empty vessels make the most noise. And of course, that's what they do. That's what they will do. And it's because they're starved of supply. If this video has been good for you so far, please give it a thumbs up. And now let's talk about it together. How is everyone doing? I was just looking back at some of my older but most popular TikTok videos, and it really brought back a lot of memories. Some of the great scenery in the background as well. And I miss doing videos like that. But it's difficult in the places where I am. There's a lot of noise and sometimes it's difficult to get signal. But in a few weeks, I will be in a different city. And hopefully go into some beaches and an island. So I'm hoping that that will be a better place to do some videos. Urban Angst says they are a deity in their own world. They need minions and monkeys to exist as they see themselves. Silence is their dark mirror. That's exactly right. I mean, that's what all of these minions are for. Is to reflect back to them how they want to see themselves and to destabilize you so that you reflect back to them how they want to see themselves. But without that, they then get a more truer, accurate depiction of themselves, a more realistic reflection. And that's what they can't stand. That's why they lose their minds. That's why they do some of the crazy things that they do. P-Beast asks, why doesn't this exhaust them? Wearing a mask 24/7 is beyond my understanding. Well, that's just it, we know it all too well because they impose a false character onto us as the victims. They expect us to constantly perform or to let them dominate us. And of course, it's very exhausting for us because we accept ourselves and we want to be authentic. So it will be exhausting for us, but for them, well, it's not that it isn't exhausting. It is. It does exhaust them too. I mean, it's exhausting for anyone to put on an act, to be something that they're not, and to remember all of the lies that they've told. That is very exhausting. And this is how they come at you in the way that they do. This is what drives them, is to get your power and energy. to fuel it. This is why they need sources of supply, because it is too exhausting for them to continue with it on their own. And this is how one person is never enough for them, and they try and get as many flying monkeys as they can. Matt Smith says, there is no I in team. That's it. But with these narcissists, that's all that it ever is. It's just me, me, me. I want, I need, I feel. It's only you if it's something wrong. Then it's you, you, you. But yeah. Yeah, I was just looking back at some of the old photos on my phone and some of the old videos that I did. And I always feel so proud, you know, when I look back and I think about everything that I've been through. All of the horrible things that were done to me. And despite that, I still made it through. I did the best that I could with what I was given. And, you know, I went out there into the world, had all of these experiences, made so many memories, and yeah, I just look back and I feel so proud of myself. I feel like I really did a good job. And, you know, I'm just so happy with all of the content that I've put out for all of you. Those of you who watch my TikTok videos and, you know, all of my lives and everything on YouTube. All of the content that I posted on Instagram. I'm just really satisfied with it. And I know that it's been very helpful, very inspiring for so many of you. And yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to continuing with it. To keep exploring, keep trying new things, making new memories, posting new videos. There's so much more to do. But yeah, you know, I look back and I think, you know, this is it. Like, this is how you avoid experiencing regret. Is despite all of the things that are being done to you, you keep going with it. You keep pushing. You don't half-arse it. And then when you look back, you can think, you know, I really did the most that I could do. I really utilized everything that I had and made the best of it. And especially, you know, having a narcissist in your life, and you compare how much you push through compared to how much they were just lazy and barely lifted a finger for you. And, you know, it just helps to remind you of who you were and what you accomplished throughout that. And despite all of the opposition, all of the pushback. But yeah, it's difficult these days to ever do just an exclusive video with you. There's always got to be other people involved, noises. And that's just how it is, you know, and it's been that way since spring 2023. It doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon. But this is the way that things are now, you know, with the gang stalking, and it's very difficult to get away from it. It's sad, you know, I never wanted it to be this way. I was always thinking about more of a brighter future, positivity, inspiration. But unfortunately, you know, out in the world, we have a lot of Debbie Downers. And that's why, you know, I keep pushing with this. I keep putting out this message. Make it as many people aware of this as I possibly can. And in many ways, it is kind of a collaboration. Because when you hear all of the constant noise and practically every video I've been making since the very beginning, it's a reminder to you that these people are everywhere. And no matter what you do, it's very difficult to get away from it. But this is it, you know? It's like everything I've said in this video. These parasites, these leeches, they need your energy or reactions because they operate with a false character and live in a false reality. This is what they do. And it's very exhausting, it's very draining for them to keep up this act. And this is why they farm your energy. You ever notice how you're constantly being drained? All of the time, you're very tired, exhausted. You can't think straight anymore. You can't think clearly. This is why. Because you're real, you're authentic, and it attracts these parasites. And this is why, you know, when you withhold your reactions, your emotional energy, it drives them crazy. It makes them suffer more than anything. Your silence is your power. And that's just what you've got to know. That's just what you've got to remember. P Beast says, I'm just glad he showed me what I don't want in life, how I don't want to be at his age. That's it, you know, I think about that myself. When I look at older narcissists, and there's so many of them around, and I think, you've really spent that amount of time on this earth, and you still haven't figured things out, especially today with all of the resources, all of the information. And it's just crazy. Of course, you know, I can understand those of you who are older and are victims. Now that makes more sense because you've been stuck in the family dynamic, maybe long-term relationships, under a spell. And they intentionally did that to you. They didn't want you to wake up. And I know that all too well myself. I feel like I was asleep for much of my life until I was about 29 years old. And then I found out about this information online. So I can completely relate to you, you know, those of you who are older and didn't figure these things out until recently. But as for these narcissists, you know, there's nothing stopping them. They are their own worst enemy. They block it out for themselves. And that's just it, you know, those of you who may have reacted in ways that you weren't proud of, reactive abuse. You know, some of you may think it's because you're not healed and, you know, you have some work to do. And yeah, while that can be part of it sometimes, it doesn't matter how healed you are. It doesn't matter how emotionally healthy you are. And if anything, it's actually the opposite. The more healed that you are, the more healthy you are. If someone is constantly poking and prodding at you, the more likely you're going to react, if anything. The more likely you're going to get upset about it. The more likely you're not going to tolerate it. So it's the other way around, and yet they manage to blame you and gaslight you for your reactions and call you sensitive. It's like they don't even realize themselves that actually it's a sign of good emotional health, of healing, that you are not reacting favorably to the things that they do. So yeah, don't let them blame you. Don't let them invalidate, gaslight you. It's normal for you to react to these crazy things that they do. But yeah, I would just like to thank all of you for joining me on another live video, bringing back this classic Narc Survivor title, How to Make a Narcissist Suffer Forever. And yeah, if you got something out of this one, please give it a thumbs up. Let's work together to get it out there so that other survivors will see it as well. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I go live again or upload a new video. Also, comment down below in the comment section. We have a brilliant community on here. Let me know if you have any questions. And I am also available for one-on-one support, which you can book through my website, narcsurvivor.co.uk. You can find the link down below in the live chat. And you can also donate if you would like to help support our community. Just go to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. I am available on Instagram. You can follow me. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. And we do have a new Facebook group. It's called Narc Survivor. So yeah, that's it for this one. But I will be back with another live video very soon. Thank you all for your support, and you all have a great day.